Pirelli World Challenge Touring Car season opened 3 weeks ago at Barber Motorsports Park. Honda carried the day with wins in all 3 touring car categories. This weekend, the series heads north of the border for a triple header at Canadian Tire Motorsport Park. Steeped in history, CTMP is one of the most daunting tracks in the world. Fast sweeping corners, a long back straight, and extreme elevation changes make this the ultimate driver's track.
Revs coming up, we're green!
Big move coming off the 3.
2, 3, 4 abreast in some spots.
Side-by-side action.
He absolutely nailed it.
Three-way battle.
And we've got an incident. You would expect nothing less.
Oh, clips the inside apex.
Very racy. This is going to get interesting.
That is a brave move. What a pass. This is what World Challenge is all about.
Hello and welcome to Canadian Tire Motorsports Park. We're 45 miles east of Toronto in the beautiful rolling hills of Ontario, Canada. I'm Jeff Lepper with Clark Camburn. Now Clark, we talked about in the open, this course has got to be one of the most daunting and intimidating in all of the world.
Jeff, this is old school racing at its best. Canadian Tire Motorsports Park was opened in 1961, and since then it's seen everything from Formula One to Can-Am to IndyCar to Pirelli World Challenge. It's fast, it's intimidating, it's unforgiving, and it's very technical. Now, earlier, you had a chance to drive around CTMP in a TCB spec car, so we're going to take a look at our Cadillac Key Corners with Jeff Lepper.
Well, here's a good look at our Cadillac Key Corners coming across start-finish line down into turn number 1. A little bit hairy as all 10 corners here at CTMP are a blind entry. You don't know where you're going to turn in. Get a good run through here, up under the bridge into probably one of the scariest corners in all of motorsports, turn number 2. A double apex downhill, off camber to the right. A little easier now that they've paved the outside of this track, but coming out through turn number 2, down into our Motul braking zone. Turn number 3, a quick downshift here. Once again, turn in, you cannot see where you're going. Still can't see, still can't see, still can't see. Now there it is, you can look at your exit, accelerate flat out in a TCB spec car down into turn number 4, another one of those blind turn-ins here at CTMP. You want to get a good setup for this corner, as this is one of the most important braking zones. Got to get set up for Moss Corner as it leads on to the Andretti Straight. Down to 3rd gear, down to 2nd gear, back on the gas. Slight left foot brake, turn in and get a good run off this corner, because going down this straightaway, not really a straightaway, it does curve through. They do call it 2 corners here, turn 6 and turn 7. The draft is going to play in here, especially in these small TC class cars. You want to tuck up behind somebody, get a good run as you're going to go through turn number 8. But talk about this track, Old Mossport, Canadian Tire Motorsports Park, how beautiful this is, racing down this great straightaway. A little bit of elevation here, trees on both sides. Down here to turn number 8. This was in the rain. However, in TCB, you are flat out in a turn into turn number 8. No view of the apex. You just kind of hold your breath, turn the wheel, and pray you got it right. Downshift a little bit to 3rd gear. Hard on the brakes for the left-hander of turn number 9. Over the curbs. Hard on the brake into that beautiful new media center here at CTMP. Through turn number 10. A lot more room than you think here. Over the gator strips. Come back underneath the start-finish line, and that completes our Cadillac Key Corners here at CTMP.
Well, that's our take on CTMP. Earlier, we got a chance to catch up with some of the drivers that talk about what it's like to drive around this historic circuit.
Just one of those tracks that kind of was built before the lawyers got involved. You know, it's got some real fast, hairy turns.
Requires a certain amount of tenacity and bravery.
You got to bring your big boy pants, is what I say. Very intimidating, a lot of flat out corners, only a couple brake zones.
A lot of blind corners, can't really see what's coming, and a lot of high speed corners, so you really got to carry your speed.
You can't just go out and nail this track. It's a momentum track where you're going to sacrifice some in one turn to set up for another.
The wall's pretty ominous every time you come around. But you just got to get the line just right, because if you don't, you're going right off track.
I'm just thinking stay off the walls, because it's going to be big when it happens. To get a fast lap here, you just kind of have to put that in the back of your mind and just go for it.
Welcome back to CTMP. This year, the Pirelli World Challenge officials altered the touring car class and added a TCA category. Now, this category allows for inexpensive racing and allows these young drivers to develop some talent and skills to move their way up the racing ladder. The first rung of the Pirelli World Challenge ladder is touring car B-Spec. These cars are based on inexpensive platforms like the Ford Fiesta, the Honda Fit, and the Mini Cooper. They're allowed very limited modifications, so they're very closely matched and affordable to race. One step up from there is Touring Car A, which applies that same philosophy to faster platforms, so we have cars like the Mazda RX-8, the Honda Civic Si, and the Kia Forte Coupe. But they have sealed engines and limited suspension and brake modifications. And at the top is the Touring Car class. These are the ultimate small displacement racing machines with racing suspension, big brake kits, and around 250 horsepower. Just like TCA, Touring Car features cars like the MX-5 and the Civic Si. And remember, this is multi-class racing, so you'll see all three classes competing on the course at the same time. As we mentioned before, Clark, 3 races here this weekend.
That's right. This is a triple-header weekend. We were supposed to have 2 races at Barber Motorsports Park, but the second one was rained out, and so Pirelli World Challenge officials decided to add a 3rd race to this race weekend. So we have a race Friday, we have a race Saturday, and we have a race Sunday. Now, it's still early in the championship battle, but if you want to do well, if you want to go home with the championship at the end of the year, you have to have good finishes in all 3 of these races. And that brings us to our Pirelli storylines. First, Taming the Beast. As we mentioned, this is a huge points weekend on a very intimidating track. You have to be fast, but you also need to survive CTMP. Honda dominance. Honda won all 3 of the touring car classes at Barber. Can anyone knock them off the throne? And finally, hometown heroes. Whenever we come to CTMP, we see some very fast local racers, especially the Kwok brothers. These guys aren't part of the championship fight, but they're very quick, and they could throw a wrench into the works. Well, we have to take a quick break. Stay with us. When we come back, highlights from rounds 2 and 3 of the Pirelli World Challenge Touring Car Championships.
Welcome back to Canadian Tire Motorsports Park for round number 4 of the Pirelli World Challenge, just about to get underway. But first, let's look at highlights from round number 2 on Friday. Cars getting a good start and the standing start here at Canadian Tire Motorsports Park. It was Michael DeMio over John Miller down through turn number 1. Great onboard here from Carl Thompson. You see Gary Kwok spinning off, almost taking his brother Tom Kwok out. Good onboard shots here of Tyler Palmer. The battle as Andre Kiesel has a huge incident. You see it there, totally destroys his car. He gets out okay under his own power, a little sore, but his Mini was done for the weekend.
And race officials decided to stop the event, stop the race to get that cleaned up. And then when we went green again, it was John Miller out front, followed by Michael DeMio and Jason Saney in 3rd. But Michael DeMio made short work of Miller on the back straightaway. Miller actually having some engine problems. He did not finish this race. And Brian Price jumped into the early lead, followed by Nate Stacy in TCB Spec.
Big scrap going on here with Tyler Palmer. Nick Whitmer in the Fiat 500, a charity car, and Paul Holton on the outside here, side by side through turn number 8 as Tyler Palmer coming through the field. Battle for 3rd here, gets way loose out to the outside now. That new pavement in turn number 2 really saved that car, Clark.
A big mistake for him. He dropped way back. In TCA, the battle was fierce with Wolf, Holbrook, and Ernie Francis Jr. running nose to tail. Holbrook catching Wolf, and as they went through lap traffic, Holbrook with a big move up the inside. She took over the lead and looked back on Wolf. Now Wolf trying to battle back, and that big Kia horsepower in the back straightaway. He powers by the outside of Holbrook, going into the S's.
Yeah, trying to make a Brian Price a pick there was Jason Wolf, but he able to get back around Shea Holbrook for the lead in TCA. Back to the TC category. Boy, Gary Kwok coming back from that huge mistake he had in turn 2 on the first lap. Gets around his brother Tom Kwok for 2nd, trying to run down Michael DeMio for 1st.
Gary Kwok was on rails in this race, setting the fastest lap of the race, trying to catch DeMio, but it was not to be. Michael DeMio takes home his 2nd win of the year. Very excited young man. In TCA, it was Wolf, followed by Holbrook. And in TCB, big battle for 2nd as Tyler Palmer makes up his big mistake early, passes Stacy on the last lap. Stacy going side by side with Whitmer, but he falls all the way back from 2nd to 4th. Frustrating day for Stacy. Brian Price comes home with the win, followed by Tyler Palmer.
Overall, in touring car category, it was Michael DeMeo with the win, followed by the Kwok brothers, Gary ahead of his brother Tom, Carl Thompson in 4th, Jason Saney completes top 5 in TC. Going to TCA, Jason Wolf gets the win with Shea Holbrook in 2nd, Ernie Francis Jr. 3rd, youngster Jason Cherry in 4th, and Russell Smith completes the top 5 in TCA. In TCB category, Brian Price gets the win, Tyler Palmer in 2nd, Nick Whitmer 3rd, youngster Nate Stacy in 4th, and Jason Fichter in 5th. We have to take a quick break, but stay with us. And welcome back to Canadian Tire Motorsports Park. Still underway here, getting preparations ready for round number 4 of the Pirelli World Challenge Touring Car Championship. We see Tom Kwok there putting his Hans device on with his helmet. Jason Cherry thinking about what he needs. But let's take a look at round number 3 highlights that took place yesterday. Standing start once again for our TC, TCA, and TCB category. Gary Kwok on pole due to fastest race lap yesterday. Comes down through turn number 3, gets the lead. Young Adam Poland into 2nd over Michael DeMeo. Good run for that Eastex Motorsports Mazda MX-5.
In TCA, it was Shea Holbrook jumping out into the early lead. You can see her there trying to hang on to the lead. Nate Stacy with the big lead in TCB, trying to make good on yesterday until this happened. Spin in the S's. Nate Stacy, huge mistake, falls all the way back to the back of the field and hands the lead over to Brian Price.
Shea Holbrook getting loose in the oil drag. Jason Wolf going to take full advantage of it. 2 drivers going side by side down at our Motul brake zone. It's going to be Shea Holbrook sticking it to the inside, but Jason Wolf keeps his foot in it, goes on the outside for the TCA lead.
Huge pass by Wolf, but Holbrook would fight back. Same corner just a couple laps later. Holbrook dives to the inside, takes the lead back. But Jason Wolf was not done. Ernie Francis Jr. has the best seat in the house behind these two as they battle. Wolf taking a look, trying to make it happen. Dives up the inside going into 4. Holbrook loose, side by side, a little bit of a touch there. Side by side going into turn 5. Holbrook up over the curb, does a little bit of damage, and Wolf back into the lead.
Looking at Michael DeMeo over Gary Kwok. Gets a good run off the corner here. Kwok bouncing over the curbs, comes down the straightaway. Little bit of fake there down into turn number 1. Michael DeMeo into the lead in TC.
Meanwhile, Nick Luget subbing for Tyler Palmer. Luget will drive for the rest of the weekend in that car. Had a great battle with Jim Cleveland first, and then Jason Fichter. He and Luget going side by side, having a little touch there. Good, solid racing into Moss. But on the last lap, Nate Stacy sets some blazing laps to pass Luget, takes over 3rd. Brian Price comes home with another win, followed by Fichter and Stacy. And then that was Michael DeMeo with his big win. This is his home track. Got a bunch of support. But the best battle of the race was in TCA. Last lap, Holbrook takes a big run on the inside going into turn 1.
Yeah, down through turn number 1 here, side by side. Boy, Jason Wolf loves the outside corners here at Canadian Tire Motorsports Park. Just stays on the gas here, trying to put it to Shea Holbrook down through turn number 2. She's had a lot of problems in this part of the course. Once again, she gets out of it, gets loose, slides off the course. It's sort of been that, and now Ernie Francis Jr. and Jason Cherry pounces on that through turn number 2.
Frustrating day for Holbrook. Tried to go for the win, ends up dropping back to 4. She was able to power around Cherry down the back straightaway using that Honda horsepower, but that was it as far as she would go. Jason Wolf comes home with another win, followed by Ernie Francis Jr. Cherry trying to go up the inside of Holbrook, isn't able to get it done, and that's how they would finish. So Michael DeMeo comes home with the win in TC, followed by Gary Kwok. Then Tom Kwok, his brother Carl Thompson in 4th, and Adam Poland in 5th. In TCA, Jason Wolf would come home with the win, Ernie Francis 2nd, Shea Holbrook 3rd, Jason Cherry 4th with fastest lap, and Russell Smith came home 5th. And in TCB, great battle. Brian Price comes home with the win, Jason Fichter 2nd, Nate Stacy 3rd, Nick Luget 4th, and Jim Cleveland would come home 5th. We're going to take another quick break. Stay with us.
And welcome back to Canadian Tire Motorsports Park as we're ready to start round number 4 of the Pirelli World Challenge Touring Car Championships. Looking at our Motul Pole Award winners in TCB, it was the youngster, 14-year-old Nate Stacy. After 3 wins, Brian Price starts in the 4th place, unusual for him.
Jason Cherry will start in the pole in TCA. Jason Wolf is going to be starting 3rd. And Shea Holbrook, after a penalty yesterday for a technical violation, she will start shotgun on the field.
Looking at our TC Motul Pole Award winner, Michael DeMeo. The man is unstoppable. 3 straight wins as he starts from pole today. For the command to start engines, Canadian Tire Motorsport Park co-owner and racing legend Ron Fellows.
On behalf of our friends at Pirelli Tire North America and Optima Battery, Ron Fellows, give us those most famous command in motorsports.
Drivers, start your engines!
Great onboard shots here from GoPro. There is the man, Michael DeMio. Shea Holbrook starting her TCA Honda Civic SI. Nick Whitmer racing for charity in that Fiat 500 with the Shriners Children's Hospital. Great shot as the car is rolling out onto pit lane to set the grid for round number 4 of the Pirelli World Challenge at Canadian Tire Motorsports Park. On pole in touring car and overall, Michael DeMio from Toronto, Ontario, Canada in the Luana Honda Civic SI. Gary Kwok will start second, Carl Thompson in third, Tom Kwok, Gary's brother, is in fourth, Adam Poland in fifth, and Jason Saney rounds out a touring car field in sixth.
And in TCA, Jason Cherry coming home with his first pole of his rookie year. He's in the Autism Society of America AV Pro Mazda MX-5. Ernie Francis Jr. will start second in another MX-5, followed by Jason Wolf, our race winner from rounds 2 and 3. Russell Smith will start fourth, Robbie Foley fifth, and Shea Holbrook, after that penalty on the last race, she will start shotgun on the TCA field.
14-year-old Nate Stacy makes the pole in TCB in the Motorsports Development Group Ford Fiesta. Jim Cleveland in second, Brian Price third, Nick Luget in fourth, Jason Fitcher fifth, George Carfallo in sixth, Paul Holt in seventh, Nick Whitmer in eighth, and PJ Gronke in the Mini Cooper now starts ninth. And our Motul race analysis, this is Canadian Tire Motorsports Park, a 2.459-mile 10-turn permanent road course. We're set to battle here at round number 4 for 40 minutes.
And the Motul braking zone is heading into turn 3. There isn't a lot of braking on this track, especially in the TCB cars, but when you come out of turn 2 flat out, top gear, you do a downshift, that is a critical corner for these guys if they want to make a pass.
Up next, we'll start round number 4 of the Pirelli World Challenge Touring Car Championships. Stay with us. And welcome back to Canadian Tire Motorsports Park for round number 4 of the Pirelli World Challenge Touring Car Championships. Cars are getting the grid set as they come down and line up on this front stretch here at CTMP. Good onboard shot there of Gary Kwok. We talk about the onboard shots. Let's look at some in-car cameras of our Kia Quad Box.
Everybody warming up the engines, getting ready. When the lights go on, get the 5-second board right now. When the lights go on, they will go out sometime after that, and that's when we go green. Lights are on.
And we're green underway. Michael DeMio getting a good start in his Honda Civic SI, followed by his teammate Carl Thompson back there. In our TCB category, Nate Stacy to the inside, Brian Price right behind him, but Mike DeMio, 4-time race winner now in the Pirelli World Challenge, down through turn number 2. Gary Kwok looking to the inside. Can he make it stick? Got to be a little sketchy through here as he gets a little bit loose, not able to make that pass.
Gary Kwok, every race he's been quick, but he is faded late. He knows he has to make a move now. Down the inside of Michael DeMio, Kwok into the lead.
Tom Kwok gets a little bit loose, slides off the course. Good in-car shot here from Shea Holbrook, seeing Tom Kwok having to move back through the field.
Holbrook trying to move back up through the field after starting last. Just ahead of her is the RX-8 of Robbie Foley. She's got to get this done quick so she can get up and battle with the leaders. On the binders hard going into Moss, 5A, then 5B. Big run off of here. If you can get a good run off of here, you could pass down the straightaway. Oh, that's the Kia of Russell Smith going wide. Holbrook knocks him down. Now she's setting her sights on the RX-8.
Big draft here. She gets around Foley on the outside. Big horsepower from this Honda Civic SI. Up next, Ernie Francis Jr. and Jason Wolf leading in TCA. Back to our leaders, Gary Kwok. Now the battle for second between Michael DeMio and his team owner, Carl Thompson from Compass 360. They're running second and third.
Carl Thompson wisely backs off, doesn't want to... Oh, DeMio, big slide. DeMio goes very wide, hangs on to it, but he will drop back to fourth. That's going to hurt.
Adam Poland up to third, the youngster, the East Tex Motorsports Mazda MX-5, trying to put a good show on in turn number 4, but now Michael DeMio has to come from the back.
Dropping back to the TCA battle, not too far behind them. You see Holbrook running third now. Holbrook trying to catch Ernie Francis Jr. Yesterday, made a big move in turn 1. It did not pay off. She was very frustrated. She said, I am going to drive this race like I am a winner. I'm going to go all out. Into turn 2, she's had problems here all weekend. Oh, Holbrook wide, Holbrook around.
Boy, I tell you what, with that new asphalt right there, just taps the wall, gonna back it up, but boy, big impact there, and that asphalt saved her and that car.
Yeah, and the tire wall did its job. Looks like the car's okay. She's gonna put it back in gear and get going again, but she will drop far back down the field, and you have to wonder, is that car damaged now?
Now as we go back on board with Michael DeMeo out of Moss Corner, Adam Poland in front of him, and then Carl Thompson in second. You see the lead that Gary Kwok has pulled over our touring car leaders. Is, boy, big run from Michael DeMeo. Gets a good shot out of Moss Corner onto the Andretti straight, trying to pick up that draft of that Mazda MX-5.
As he closes, you can see the car starting to suck up into the draft as they head into the S's. He's going to take a look to the inside. Doesn't get it done. Poland running a little bit of a defensive line. That's okay. Nothing wrong with that. But DeMeo wants these positions back. He knows he has to get this done now if he's going to have time to run down Kwok.
Yeah, and the best thing that can happen right now for DeMeo is Adam Poland try to make a move on Carl Thompson and see if Michael DeMeo can follow him in. A lot of smoke coming out of the back of that Mazda Miata there. And now DeMeo on the inside of his teammate Carl Thompson. Boy, Carl shuts the door on his teammate. Boy, no team orders there.
Thompson feeling very racy. Folks, we have to take a quick break. Stay with us.
And welcome back to Canadian Tire Motorsports Park. On board with Jason Wolf as he's trying to hunt down Jason Cherry, who's leading in the touring car category after that pole position start coming through turn number 9. Jason Cherry way wide. Boy, Jason Wolf gets wide too. Both drivers having problems, and Jason Wolf recovers a little quicker to the outside. It's going to be a drag race down as Cherry loses 2 positions. Wolf into first and Ernie Francis in second.
You know, we've seen quite a few spins there, especially early in the race. Tires are cold. Those guys just struggle in that corner. Now you see Francis fighting around the outside of Jason Cherry. Cherry does not want to give up second place, but I think he's going to have to yield going into turn 2.
Well, Jason Wolf able to take the lead in the touring car A category, followed by Ernie Francis Jr. See him still getting loose. Great onboard shots here from those GoPro cameras.
And now we go on board with TCB leader Nate Stacy. This kid is just 14 years old, and he has been really fast all weekend. Stacy leads Brian Price going through turn 1, and now we transition back to Jason Fichter in the battle for third.
Yeah, right in front of him, Nick Whitmer in that charity car. The Fiat 500 gets a little bit on the inside there, bouncing over the curbs. Paul Holton leading this bunch here in that Radium True Car Honda Fit down through turn number 3 and 4. Battle for Nick Whitmer and Paul Holton. Boy, Paul getting that little Honda Fit way loose. Looks like a rally car.
You know, Paul Holton told me he wants to drive GRC, so maybe he's getting some practice in his TCB spec car. Feeling very racy here today.
Well, Jason Fichter right behind Nick Whitmer, trying to battle around Paul Holton as they come down here into Moss Corner. Fichter looking to the inside. Nick Whitmer going to shut the door. Fichter thinks the better part of valor there is, boy, Paul Holton way sideways, gets it sideways, and Fichter picks up 2 positions just like that.
Fichter says thank you very much as he slides around Holton and Whitmer. On board with Holton now, we should mention before that mistake, Paul Holton had picked up our Optima battery's best standing start for making a big jump at the start. Now Holton hunting down Whitmer using that big Honda Fit horsepower to see if he can pass going down the Andretti straightaway.
Well, we talk about the draft here down that Andretti straight down through turn number 8. In the TCB cars, you are flat out. Nick Whitmer looking to the inside. Paul Holton going to split those 2 cars. I don't think you can do flat out 3 wide in TCB through turn number 8. These drivers are going to try it though. 3 wide. A little contact with Fichter. He falls off. Boy, got to get on the binders there. Do not want to get up into that wall.
Fichter going very wide but hangs on to it, and now Whitmer side by side with Holton. Whitmer still fighting back, trying to hang on to that position.
And the Honda Fit power over that Fiat 500 down the stretch here as you see Paul Holton able to pull away from Nick Whitmer. Take a quick onboard look here at Jason Fichter and that incident we had right here in turn number 8.
Holton, big hit on Fichter, knocks him out in the grass. I think we have another angle. Take a look at it from Whitmer's perspective. There goes Holton. Whitmer up to the inside. A little kiss there, just a nudge, and that's enough to get Holton loose. Holton knocks into Fichter, and it is game over for Fichter. Tough break for him after a very good run yesterday and again today.
Yeah, no fault of his own, but the battle on into the overall lead in touring car. Gary Kwok, Michael DeMeo closing that gap on the back bumper of that M&S Quality Produce Honda Civic SI, but it has been DeMeo so far, the class of the touring car field all 2014 season, coming down through turn number 4 into the hard braking zone of Moss Corner, turn number 5. Michael DeMeo looking to make his move, try to get a good run here, maybe work that draft down this Andretti straight.
Well, Michael DeMeo is already a 3-time winner in his rookie year in Pirelli World Challenge. He opened the season with a huge victory at Barber Motorsports Park, and he hasn't looked back.
My dad has instilled in me since I was a little kid, if you're going to do something, you have to do it at the best level, at the highest level you can do, or it's not worth doing. I first started off with karting, and then I started getting a liking into sports car racing, so I converted my daily driver into a race car. I came to this track and ran a lot of laps.
DeMio takes the win in touring car and the overall win. Great drive for him.
I'm gonna remember that for the rest of my life. Like, all the preparation, all the hard work and time myself and the guys put in is certainly showing right now with the performance we have. I'm from Toronto, this is my home track. Once I found out that they were running the triple header here at Mosport, I was kind of excited because it's my home track and I have a lot of experience, but then I was kind of nervous because a lot of people are coming out to support me. I opened up pretty big, so I have to maintain the performance. I'll drive anything, man. As long as it has 4 wheels and an engine, you don't even have to pay me. Just the joy of being out here, being in front of all these fans, hearing them cheer you on as you go across the finish, and having a good victory lap is priceless.
Michael DeMio, hometown hero, got a lot of supporters here, and he is looking for a way around Gary Kwok. Kwok is definitely feeling the pressure.
Yeah, 2 local boys here from Canada. Boy, Carl Thompson back in 3rd, can it be an all-Canada podium? Michael DeMio out of Moss Corner on the Andretti Straight, wants to tuck up right behind Gary Kwok. Gary Kwok, he knows how to get around this place just like DeMio. It's going to be a battle of who I think is going to make the mistake or who's going to have the better Honda Civic Si today.
And you can't say that DeMio has a horsepower advantage, because you can see, even though he's in the draft, he's just barely gaining on Kwok. This is going to come down to handling and driving. A little bit of a defensive line from Kwok, and you have to be careful with that. From Kwok's perspective, he wants to run defensive, but when you turn in early like that, it's hard on the car, and you can use up your car quicker if you're too defensive.
Yeah, you did see that, how it really closed the gap with Michael DeMio when Kwok started defending. One of those just hit your marks and make it happen. Can he use the lap car of Jason Cherry as a pick? Looking down to the inside, it is DeMio, hard on the brakes, down through turn number 1. They're side by side. Boy, good gentleman driving here, no contact whatsoever, give each other racing room, but Gary Kwok has that preferred line through turn number 2.
Kwok on the inside, but DeMio around the outside. Oh, that was a brave move. Impressive drive by DeMio. Kwok actually slides a little bit wide there, and DeMio into the lead. Folks, we have to take another quick break. We're halfway home at Canadian Tire Motorsport Park. Michael DeMio leads in touring car, Jason Wolf leads in TCA, and Nate Stacy leads in TCB.
Welcome back to Canadian Tire Motorsports Park Pirelli World Challenge Touring Car Championship. In TCA, it is Jason Wolf over Ernie Francis Jr., but Ernie Francis Jr. putting the pressure to Jason Wolf coming down through turn number 2. Boy, you see Ernie Francis Jr., the 16-year-old youngster, really trying to put the pressure on Jason Wolf now for the overall lead in TCA.
And you could really see Ernie Francis Jr. very quick in the corners. Francis looks up the inside, very close on Jason Wolf. Francis is going to tuck his nose in. That puts him on the outside going into turn 4.
Yeah, not where you want to be, I don't think, but that if he can stick it out there on the outside, he'll get it down to turn 5. He doesn't make it. Thinks the better part of Valor there as they come down into the braking zone through Moss Corner.
And you can see him closing back up when they get on the binders going into 5. 5B, Francis right there, baby, trying to make it stick. But when we get onto the back straightaway, you're going to see Wolf opening up that gap. This is what we talk about in touring car. It's called balance of performance. The challenge for Pirelli World Challenge officials is to balance out a bunch of very different cars. Wolf is in a Kia Forte Coupe. He's got front-wheel drive. He's got a turbocharged engine. And Francis is in an MX-5 that's a much lighter car. It's rear-wheel drive. It's a little bit better in the handling department, but to make them balance out and run equal lap times, that means he has a little bit less horsepower.
And you can really see the advantage that Kia pulls out over that Mazda MX-5 coming into turn number 8 off the Andretti Straight, but right through the S's now. Ernie Francis Jr. closed that gap that was about 3 seconds to less than a second coming down the straightaway, still trying to make that move for first.
And this is touring car racing at its best. The challenge for Francis is to make a pass stick in the right spot and get away enough that Wolf can't pass him back down the front straightaway.
He's going to try to do it here, but he's going to get balked a little bit by Jim Cleveland in his Mini Cooper. Boy, good heads-up driving from Ernie Francis Jr. Ducks back to the inside, trying to just tuck up underneath that Kinetic Motorsports Kia Forte.
On board with Wolf. Wolf actually has a Formula Car racing background, driving the Kia this year, doing a great job, and you can see Francis once again in the corners just closes right up on Wolf.
It's got to be a more of a if this is going to happen versus when it's going to happen, because it looks like Ernie Francis Jr. with the advantage here in the corners. You said it before, Clark. He's got to make it stick. Boy, look at that elevation change. Good shot there as these drivers come through Moss Corner. Should be corners, as it's really 2 corners in 1.
Now looking at one of the best battles on the racetrack, this is the battle for 4th in TCB spec. Nate Stacy's out front, Brian Price 2nd, and Nick Whitmer is 3rd. But these guys are going hammer and tongs. Paul Houghton, Nick Luget, and PJ Gronke.
Well, Gronke in a new car. He steps into that Scott Cooney prepared 4R Motorsports Mini Cooper. Had a huge incident in qualifying. That Shea Racing team not able to get his Honda Fit ready for this race, so he gets into this Mini Cooper, getting acclimated. He says he's got a lot of laps in a Mini around this track. He's starting to charge way through the field.
Gronke did have to start last because he changed cars, but he is doing a brilliant job of working his way up through the field. Now on board with Luget, watching Holton and Gronke just ahead. Holton and Gronke are technically teammates. Now, we mentioned this was the battle for 4th, but there was just an incident, we understand, with Whitmer, so we're going to go to a replay.
Yeah, on board Shea Holbrook here to the inside of Nick Whitmer in that Fiat. She gets up on the curve, bounces over to Whitmer in that Fiat. Boy, you really heard the damage that caused, and I believe that's going to end the day for Nick Whitmer.
Yeah, you can hear the hit on Whitmer, and oh, it sounds like it broke a toe link. Now back on board with the TCB battle, and here comes Gronke.
Yeah, PJ Gronke put it to his teammate, but battling 2 different car makes now instead of the traditional Honda Fit that he's used to. Boy, back to the outside. Can he make it stick down here to turn number 10? Hard on the brakes. Boy, big lurid slide from Paul Holton, but he keeps his foot in it, and the benefactor there is going to be Nick Luget, as he's going to try to get around both of these drivers down into turn number 1.
Big move by Nick Luget. He is definitely feeling confident for someone who has not driven that car very often. Luget on the inside in turn 1.
Who knows who's going to end up here, because now this is the battle for that final podium spot. Paul Holton on the inside of Nick Luget down through turn number 2. PJ Gronke thinks, I don't think he can make that work, but they do, as Nick Luget able to put it past PJ Gronke. But Paul Holton down through turn number 3, going to get a little bit loose here as Nick Luget looks to the inside. Paul Gronke going to go outside. Don't make it 3 wide and 4. Boy, look at the power of that Mini Cooper, the outside of the Honda Fit.
And Gronke is not listening to you, Jeff. He is going to go 3 wide into 4, trying to hold it up the inside. Can he make it stick? No. Holton shuts the door.
It is Luget, though, looking on the inside of the Honda Fit. Maybe a little contact there. Don't think so, but Luget sticks it back underneath Paul Holton. Oh, and they make contact. Holton off to the side and Luget off to the right. PJ Gronke is going to get right around Luget. Boy, that's really going to hurt Luget down this Andretti straight.
And you could see just off to the right there, that was the Fiat of Whitmer. We're going to take a look at an onboard now from Luget's perspective. Up the inside, going into 5, up over the curb. And then Holton gets sideways there. Luget thinks he's going to go on the inside, and Holton just hooks it, and they touch.
Boy, Holton didn't give him much room at all down through the corner there. Here's a good replay of that, and you'll see Paul Holton coming down. Nick Luget was sort of there, but jumps that curb into the door of Paul Holton, and I think Luget really hurt himself more than anybody else there.
So fortunately, all those cars continue on, and just behind them is Michael DeMio. That is the overall leader coming up to lap the B-Spec cars. Now, this could kind of mess up their race. Part of racing and multi-class racing is making sure that the faster guys don't mess up your race. Here comes DeMio up the inside. He's going to get around these guys. Thank you very much. No problem there.
PJ Gronke to the inside of Paul Holton through turn number 1. Just breathed a little bit, let Paul Holton go in front of him, trying to get a good draft through turn number 2. Maybe catch him down into that Motul braking zone of turn number 3.
Now, as a driver, you have to realize Holton is very aggressive. He has good car control, but he is overdriving that car a little bit right now. We see he's a little bit erratic. He's getting sideways. He's locking up the brakes. Oh, and big slide for him. Keep your foot in it, Paul. Keep it straight.
Boy, and Paul Holton, boy, really saved that car as PJ Gronke gets around him. But boy, look at this gavel of lap traffic. Russell Smith, Robbie Foley, and it looks like one of the Kwok brothers in their Honda Civic Si all trying to work around this TCB battle for 3rd.
And that was key for Gronke. Oh, another big slide from Holton. That was key for Gronke. Gronke needs to get around Holton and get away because he doesn't want Holton to repass him and have to do that work all over again. And this will be the final lap. Michael DeMio will take the white flag. 1 lap to go. Now back to the TCA battle, and Wolf is still leading Ernie Francis Jr.
Yeah, Ernie Francis Jr., they've been nose to tail here all race long in the TCA battle. The power of that Kia Forte Coupe of Jason Wolf seems to have a little bit of an advantage at this course over the handling of the Mazda MX-5, but Ernie Francis Jr. not giving it up. Battling hard with Jason Wolf through turn number 2. You'll see that Mazda MX-5 come down through great onboard shots once again from our GoPro Hero cameras down into our Motul braking zone. Ernie Francis Jr. to the inside. Can he make it stick? This is where he's going to have to make it pass, Clark.
Wolf goes off. Wolf slides wide. He's going to drop way back, see if he can hang on to it. He does get it back on the straightaway, but that is the break that Francis needed. The two of them went side by side in there. Wolf just got out on the marbles a little bit. That's the section of track that's just a little bit slippery, and that did end Wolf. Wolf drops way back. He will not be able to make up that time this late in the race. Now on board with Holbrook. Holbrook trying to hunt down that RX-8 of Robbie Foley. She had that spin early. Now she's trying to work her way back up. Points are critical for her this weekend after those penalties. This is the final lap. Can she run down Foley before they cross the line?
Boy, something else you got to think about too is that problem that Jason Wolf had with that huge off. Does she actually have a chance for a podium here in the TCA class?
It could be possible. That's Russell Smith just ahead of Foley, and Holbrook can smell it. Maybe she'll get another podium.
But Robbie Foley, the best thing he could do for his position right now is tuck behind that Kinetic Motorsports Kia Forte Coupe of Russell Smith. Good draft, but Shea Holbrook has the draft now in her Honda Civic. She's going to bounce to the outside of Robbie Foley, and she gets around Russell Smith. Boy, he sure was parked down that straightaway. Not sure if he missed a shift in that Kia.
Gotta believe maybe there was a problem with Russell Smith's car. Now we take a look at Michael DeMio. He's going to cross the line for a big victory. DeMio very excited. Brilliant drive for him. Congratulations to Michael DeMio on the third race win of the weekend.
Here is Shea Holbrook. She got around Robbie Foley there on the straightaway, comes across the start-finish line. She'll get third in TCA.
And we'll take a look at Holbrook. Nice drive for her. And there is Nate Stacy, our TCB winner. Stacy, we haven't really given him much time because he's just been out front. Brilliant drive by him. He got out front and just checked out.
And our battle for fourth, Nick Luget right behind Paul Holton coming down through turn number 8 here. Who's going to keep their foot in and make the pass? Paul Holton hits the brakes. Nick Luget looking to the outside, going to try the over-under through turn number 9. Can he make it stick? Chris Capaldi right there. Boy, Nick Luget wants to get this bad. He's going to go outside, looks back to the inside. No, sticks it to the outside, keeps his foot in it. It's going to be a drag race to the finish line. Who's it going to be, Luget or Holton? I don't know. Looks too close to call.
And it's Nick Luget by just 26 thousandths of a second.
Looking back at our touring car A category leader, there he is, Ernie Francis Jr. in that breathless performance Mazda MX-5, and Jason Wolf has to be gutted. He battled all race long with Ernie Francis Jr., led a majority of this race, but Ernie Francis Jr. gets the win in his Mazda MX-5. We'll get a chance to talk to all of our race winners next. Stick around.
Welcome back to Canadian Tire Motorsports Park, where we've just wrapped up round 4 of the Pirelli World Challenge Touring Car Championship. We're going to head down to Victory Circle now with our race winner, Michael DeMio.
It feels too good to be true. I got a little emotional in the car there before I came out. It's been an awesome weekend, awesome first 4 races. It was just crazy drive today. We fell back to 4th at the start. I made a mistake going into turn 4 there, but we put our heads down. We came back and we took the win. So it's great to do it at home, to do a 3-peat at home in front of all the fans that came out. Everyone was waving on the victory lap. It was so awesome. I got to thank Liuna, my team, Compass 360. They give me the best car every time out. So I just drive the thing.
Well, a joyful Michael DeMio will come home with a big touring car win. Gary Kwok finishes 2nd, Carl Thompson 3rd, Tom Kwok 4th, and Adam Poland will round out the top 5. Jason Saney classified in 6th, but he was a DNF today. Now we're going to head down to Victory Circle again for our TCA winner, Ernie Francis Jr.
Well, for Ernie Francis Jr., 3rd place, 2nd place, now 1st. Tell us how you made that pass.
I was having a great battle with Jason Wolf out there, and going down into turn 3, I knew I could outbrake him through there, so went on the inside, outbroke him, and then we both went a little bit wide, and he got in the grass and never looked back from there for the last 2 laps.
So Ernie Francis Jr. will come home with his first TCA victory of the season, followed by Jason Wolf. Shea Holbrook comes from the back to finish third, followed by Robbie Foley and Russell Smith. Well, in TCB, the battle was fast and furious for third, fourth, and fifth, but Nate Stacy came home with the win.
So Nate Stacy, Motorsports Development Group Ford Fiesta, the youngest pole sitter ever, now the youngest winner ever in Pirelli World Challenge. How do you feel?
I feel pretty happy that I finally got through it. And I was really happy my family was here and that everyone was here, and that Stuart Robertson, the owner of MDG, flew out for this race. And he was kind of sick yesterday, but he was feeling better today, and now I hope he feels a lot better now.
Well, you can hear the celebration down there for young Nate Stacy. He will come home with a big win, followed by Brian Price in second. PJ Gronke comes from the back to finish third. Nick Luget fourth, Paul Holton fifth, and Chris Capaldi with a nice run to finish sixth. Jim Cleveland will finish seventh, Jason Fitchter eighth, and Nick Whitmer will have a DNF. The Sunoco Hard Charger Award goes to PJ Gronke for his run from 9th to 3rd. The CTSV move of the race, the Kia turning point of the race, and the Stop Tech Brake Late Finish First Award go to Ernie Francis Jr. for his pass over Jason Wolf. The Motul Fast Laps were turned in by Michael DeMio, Jason Cherry, and Nick Luget. After round 4, the Touring Car Drivers' Championship is led by Michael DeMio, with Carl Thompson in second and Gary Kwok in third. HBD leads the manufacturer's points. Jason Wolf leads the TCA standings, followed by Jason Cherry and Shea Holbrook. Kia leads the manufacturer's points, followed by HBD. In TCB, Brian Price is in the lead, Nate Stacy is second, and Nick Luget is third. HPD leads the manufacturer's points, Mini is second, and Fiat is third. It was a great weekend of racing here at Canadian Tire Motorsport Park. Congratulations to all of our race winners. On behalf of Jeff Lepper, I'm Clark Camber. Thanks for watching the Pirelli World Challenge Touring Car Championship.